Do you know how the U.S. government works? No? Well, you're in the right place. Now let's start with a quick overview. Our federal government, established by the Constitution, is divided into three distinct branches: the legislative, the executive, and the judicial. Each one has its unique role and powers, and they all work together in a delicate balance to govern our nation. The legislative branch, also known as Congress, is responsible for making laws. The executive branch, headed by the president, enforces these laws. The judicial branch, with the Supreme Court at its helm, interprets these laws. Together, they form the backbone of the American democratic system. In this video, we'll delve into the intricacies of each branch, shedding light on their functions, their powers, and how they interact with each other. We'll explore how these branches keep each other in check, ensuring no one branch becomes too powerful. So stick around and you'll be a pro in no time. First, we'll explore the legislative branch, the government's lawmaking body. The legislative branch, often referred to as Congress, is one of three branches of the United States government and holds the critical responsibility of creating laws. Think of it as the blueprint maker of the country, drawing up plans and ideas that, when approved, become the rules we all live by. But Congress isn't some singular faceless entity. It's divided into two sections or houses, the Senate and the House of Representatives. Each house has a distinct role to play in the legislative process, and each one brings a unique perspective to the table. Let's start with the Senate. It's the smaller of the two houses, with just 2 senators representing each state, regardless of its size or population. That's a total of 100 senators, each serving 6-year terms. The Senate's primary function is to review and debate proposed laws, but it also has a few unique responsibilities. For instance, only the Senate can confirm presidential appointments and ratify treaties. On the other hand, we have the House of Representatives. This house is more populous, with 435 members, and the number of representatives per state depends on the state's population. Each representative serves a 2-year term. The House of Representatives is where laws begin. Any representative can introduce a bill, which is essentially a proposal for a new law or a change to an existing one. Now, how do these bills become laws? It's a bit of a journey. Once a bill is introduced in the House of Representatives, it's reviewed and debated by various committees. If it survives this stage, it's sent to the House floor for further debate and eventually a vote. If the bill passes the House, it's sent over to the Senate. The Senate follows a similar process with its own round of committees, debates, and votes. If the Senate approves the bill, it's off to the president's desk for the final signature. But if the Senate makes changes to the bill, it's sent back to the House, and the process starts again. This back and forth can seem tedious, but it's all part of a balanced system designed to ensure that every law is thoroughly examined from various angles. It's not easy to create a law, and that's intentional. The process is meant to prevent the passage of laws that could harm citizens or infringe upon their rights. But the legislative branch isn't just about making laws. It also has the power to declare war, approve budgets, and impeach officials, including the president. It's a multifaceted entity with a vast range of responsibilities, all aimed at maintaining the country's stability and protecting its citizens. And let's not forget about the citizens' role in the legislative branch. Senators and representatives are elected by the people, meaning that you, as a voter, have a say in who makes the laws and how they're made. It's a beautiful demonstration of democracy in action, a system where the power truly lies with the people. So, there you have it. The legislative branch is a complex, dynamic machine, a blend of debate, scrutiny, and compromise. It's where ideas are transformed into laws, where voices are heard, and where the course of the nation is charted. That's the legislative branch in a nutshell. Next up, the executive branch. Now, let's turn our attention to the executive branch, the government's administrative body. So imagine the executive branch as the captain of a ship, steering the course of the nation. At the helm, you've got the President of the United States. The President is the head honcho, the chief executive officer of the country, if you will. The President's responsibilities are vast and varied, from being the commander-in-chief of the armed forces to signing or vetoing laws passed by Congress. The president's role also includes negotiating treaties and appointing federal judges, including justices of the Supreme Court. But don't think it's all about power and control. The president also holds a symbolic role, embodying the values and aspirations of the American people and serving as a beacon of unity and hope during times of crisis. But remember, a captain is only as good as their crew. So who's in the president's crew? First up, we have the vice president. The vice president is more than just a backup player waiting in the wings. They've got duties of their own, like presiding over the Senate and casting the deciding vote in case of a tie. And should the president be unable to perform their duties, the vice president steps up to take command. Then, we've got the president's cabinet. This isn't a piece of furniture, folks, but a group of advisors made up of the heads of the 15 executive departments. These include big names like the Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense, and the Attorney General, among others. Each department focuses on specific issues, from education and healthcare to defense and homeland security. The cabinet's role is to advise the president on any subject he or she might require relating to the duties of each member's respective office. Let's not forget the numerous agencies, commissions, and committees that fall under the executive branch. These include the Central Intelligence Agency, the Environmental Protection Agency, and the Federal Reserve, to name a few. These entities enforce the laws and regulations that keep our country running smoothly. Now, you might be asking, how does one become a member of this prestigious branch? Well, the president and vice president are elected by the citizens through a process called the Electoral College. The president then appoints the cabinet members, who must be confirmed by the Senate. The heads of the various agencies are also appointed by the president, and in most cases, need the Senate's approval. It's important to note that the executive branch doesn't operate in a vacuum. It's part of a system of checks and balances with the other two branches, the legislative and the judicial. This ensures that no single branch holds too much power and that the rights of the American people are protected. In essence, the executive branch is like the engine of a car. It's responsible for implementing and enforcing the laws of the land, keeping the wheels of government turning, and making sure the country stays on the right track. So that's the executive branch for you folks. It's a complex machine with many moving parts, all working together to steer the ship of state. But remember, it's not just about the people in office. It's about the principles they uphold and the work they do for the American people. And that's the executive branch for you. Now, on to the judicial branch. Finally, we come to the judicial branch, the government's law-interpreting body. This branch, my friends, is where the rubber meets the road, where the laws passed by the legislative branch and enforced by the executive branch are interpreted and applied. The judicial branch is made up of the Supreme Court and the entire federal court system. The Supreme Court, the highest court in the land, has 9 justices who handle the nation's most significant legal disputes. The federal court system, on the other hand, is an intricate web of district courts and circuit courts, all designed to ensure justice is served across the country. Let's delve a bit deeper into the Supreme Court. It's not just any court. It's the final interpreter of federal constitutional law. The decisions made by the Supreme Court set precedents that all other courts in the U.S. must follow. This is no small responsibility. The 9 justices are appointed for life by the president and confirmed by the Senate. This lifetime appointment is designed to ensure that the justices are insulated from political pressure. Now, you might be wondering, how does a case make it to the Supreme Court? Well, a case must go through the lower courts, and if the parties involved aren't satisfied with the outcome, they can appeal to the Supreme Court. But here's the catch. The Supreme Court gets to choose which cases it hears. It receives thousands of appeals each year, but selects only a small fraction for review. Moving on to the federal court system, it's made up of 94 district courts, 12 circuit courts, and several other specialized courts. District courts are the trial courts where cases are first heard. Circuit courts, also known as appellate courts, review the decisions made by district courts. If you're unhappy with a decision made by a district court, you can take it to a circuit court. Now, let's talk about something called judicial review. This is a power that the Supreme Court holds to review the constitutionality of a statute or an administrative regulation. In other words, the Supreme Court has the final say on whether a law violates the Constitution. This power of judicial review was established in the landmark case of Marbury v. Madison back in 1803. And it's a critical part of the checks and balances system that keeps our government in line. The judicial branch, through the Supreme Court and the federal court system, plays a vital role in maintaining the balance of power in our government. It checks the other two branches by ensuring that the laws they pass and enforce adhere to the Constitution. It's the referee in the game of government, the watchful guardian of our Constitution. And remember, these judges and justices are appointed, not elected. This is to ensure they are impartial, making decisions based on the law and the Constitution, not on public opinion or political pressure. It's a system that's been in place since our country's founding, a testament to the wisdom and foresight of our founding fathers. And that, my friends, is the judicial branch. But we're not done yet. Now, you may be wondering, what keeps one branch from becoming too powerful? The answer, my friends, is a clever system called checks and balances. This intricate dance of power ensures that no single branch of our government can overshadow the others. Let's break it down. Picture this. The legislative branch, with its Congress, can make laws, right? But wait. The executive branch, led by the president, has the power to veto those laws. That's a check in action. But the dance doesn't stop there. The president may veto a law, but Congress can turn around and override that veto with a 2/3 majority vote. Talk about a comeback. And what about our friends in the judicial branch? They have the ultimate power of judicial review. This means they can declare a law unconstitutional, effectively taking it off the books. It's like a referee making a game-changing call. But even the judicial branch is not unchecked. The president, from the executive branch, is the one who nominates federal judges, including those on the Supreme Court. And these nominees must be approved by the Senate, part of the legislative branch. It's a constant back and forth, a delicate balance of power. So, you see, each branch has its own set of powers, but also checks on its power. It's like a game of chess where every move is calculated to maintain equilibrium. That's how checks and balances keep our government balanced and fair. So now you know how the U.S. government works. We've unpacked the legislative, executive, and judicial branches, each with its unique role and responsibilities. We also delved into the system of checks and balances, which ensures no single branch gains too much power. It's a complex machine, but one that's designed to serve us, the people. Remember, understanding our government is the first step to being an informed citizen. Thanks for watching.